Hey everybody, G4 Video 5 here, and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition. In this part, we will be completing the mission Lure for Woozie.
As honored as I am to share my home with you, we should lure these lizards out into the baking sun.
We were followed here. The Da Nang boys are watching this apartment. As soon as we leave, they will attempt an assassination.
Hey, what's the big deal? Why don't you cruise on out of here, lead them to a place quiet, and cap they flat asses? No offense.
None taken.
We find you funny.
Look, long as they think Mr. Farley here is in the back, they'll follow me wherever. After a while, you can come out safely. Simple.
Amazing.
Your success will be rewarded, Mr. Johnson.
Ooh, yes, whoa, you see these graphics right here? It's like the game shitting itself from the inside out. That was nasty, but, it's a little weird right there what just happened. And in fact, I remember that happening in Vice City as well. There was like a cutscene involving the Pole Position Club, and I think the Malibu Club as well, where the game didn't fully load in after a cutscene, and ooh, playing a dangerous game here, trying to get all fast with my movements. Nearly flipped over right there, but I don't really know why that happens in the definitive edition versions of these games, and I don't know if it's consistent when you're comparing to the PC version versus the PlayStation versions, or the Xbox versions, or even the Nintendo Switch versions, or whatever. It's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, enough about the graphics and all that. What we're doing here is apparently running over people rolling in front of us, but also acting as a decoy for Ron Farley and his assistant, as the Da Nang boys are eyeballing Woozie's apartment, and we need to act as a decoy to get the Da Nang boys to attack us instead of Ron Farley. And shoutouts to this jump right here. It's just so... It's awesome doing these types of intense jumps with crappy vehicles like this particular vehicle, this Rancher that we're using, because it's not a fun vehicle to use. It's very bulky, quite slow, doesn't accelerate all that great, so there's a lot of issues with this, but doing something like that is not only awesome, and also managing to somehow land on all fours and continue driving, because we did roll around quite a bit there when we landed, but all that stuff is great. But the reason for doing that is because it's a speedrunning strat that allows us to kind of cut corners a little bit, because there's tons of driving in this mission. So to cut down on the amount of driving means that you cut down on the amount of time it takes to do this mission, which is actually a good thing, because this mission's quite long as it is. And this part of the mission gets a bit intense here, as the Da Nang boys reveal themselves to us, and also crash into trees back there, which is quite awesome. I love doing that with the AI. Like when you have enemies chasing after you, which there's actually a handful of missions I've been noticing where the Da Nang boys chase us down on motorbikes and stuff, but it's fun to kind of get them to crash into things, and back there it's really easy to do that because there's so many trees in that area that you have to drive through, so it works out quite nicely in getting them to crash into things and then kind of fall off your back a little bit, which is nice because, as you can see right here, this is where things kind of slow down a bit, but things will speed up because there's a few straightaways that will allow us to really gain some momentum to distance ourselves from the enemies back there. So all in all, I'd say that this mission isn't too bad for me these days. I know when I was first playing through this game when I was younger, this mission was really tough because this vehicle really sucks. I mean, I've already described some problems with it, but man, when you're not used to really evading enemies and driving off-road with all these bumps and things to crash into, it can be really challenging, actually, especially because of the length of this mission. It's not just a short segment where you're doing this type of thing. I mean, this is pretty much the bulk of the mission right here, which we're pretty close to the home stretch, which is quite nice. as this mission, it kind of drags on a little bit, and it actually kind of reminds me of like a race type of thing because of these checkpoints, and then the enemies behind us almost acting as if they're other drivers, which is kind of neat. But anyway, the whole point of this extended section of the mission where we're driving through these checkpoints is obviously to lure these guys even further away from San Fierro, to make sure that we are the focus of the Da Nang boys, so Ron Farley and his assistant can make their escape. Not that Woozie was holding them captive or anything. In fact, it seemed like Woozie wanted them out of his hair. He was tired of them playing the hot coffee mod over and over again.
Hey.
Mr. Johnson, it's Guppy. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's nothing. They took the bait like morons. Mr. Farley get out all right?
Yes, Woozie has taken him to safety. Thank you.
Cool. I'll see you later, man. It's DECOY! Back to Chinatown!
Yes, be gone with you, villainous scum. As we've now completed the mission, although I'm kind of questioning what's stopping them from attacking Woozie at this point for the whole inconvenience of this situation. I don't know, but anyway, that wraps up this part. In the next part, we'll be taking on the next mission for Woozie, which is called Amphibious Assault. So until then, I will see you next time.